The Object 268 version 4 is a vehicle that I have a love-hate relationship with. It has a lot of great strengths, but it has a lot of big weaknesses. Some great examples of this are the accuracy. Even with refined gun, we're only sitting at 0.346 dispersion, and I have to trade my aiming time for that. This thing has 4 seconds of aiming time paired with poor dispersion, and it has APCR standard, which means that penetrating your shells can sometimes be very frustrating. So those are the things I don't love about the tank, but it does have high alpha, it has incredibly good armor, and surprisingly good mobility for the armor that it features. Plus, it has reactive armor, meaning that you can negate a lot of the damage you receive throughout a battle. Now, the reason I'm talking about the 268 version 4 is because I have played in the third highest damage battle ever recorded in the vehicle today. It has been a very long time since I've had a super high damage battle. The last high damage game I played was probably maybe 8-9 months ago in the Cron when I did around 8,000-ish damage. Maybe it was like 82, 8,300. This game involved me getting all the damage by myself with zero help from the team, and it shows just where the 268 version 4 is able to perform well. And I'm not going to lie, there is an AFK player in the enemy team, but it doesn't really affect what happened in this game, as you're going to see. This is a pretty wild battle, and I was very surprised I was able to survive, let alone farm an insane amount of damage. So, taking a look at the enemy team, what do they have? Well, they have a 50B, a Grill 15, a Progetto, E4, WZ, and then they've got a Balchaltion Avenir and a K91. So they got a lot of dangerous vehicles. The Bat Chat can obviously outspot me at a very long distance. I don't really want to deal with that, hence why I decided to drive town. And I actually got really lucky that I was playing Encounter here. I have Supremacy turned on, but because my platoon mate was running the tune, it ended up being Encounter. So I get a 760 damage juicer into the enemy Grill 15. Not a bad start at all for this game. We can see that there is an enemy AFK K91 who I'm going to take a shot at, but I am not actually able to because of the fact that, well, he's behind cover. So instead, I'm going to move over towards my T-54E1 because obviously I'm going to try and take advantage of an AFK. Well, turns out he's no longer AFK, and he decided to come back. Well, that sucks. Guess we don't get any damage from him. At this point, I realized, well, there's not much else I can do but sit here and stare at the K91, so we're going to aim in, and, wow, my shell actually went exactly where I wanted it to. Unfortunately, we ended up getting shot by the T-110E4 in return, and I fat-fingered my reactive armor, which basically meant that I wasted my reactive. So, yeah, not great so far. Reactive armor is one of those consumables that is really nice when it works, but the problem is you need to be in a situation where you know that you're about to bleed or you're about to be dealing with a push. That's great in comp, but in pubs, it's very hard to actually predict those things. Like, I would not have been able to predict that the E4 was, going to shoot me until it was too late. So, oh well. At this point, we're up to 2,700 damage. You saw the nice shot in the Progetto and the WZ-113 GFT. Pretty good stuff so far. And we're just beginning in this game. It's been about 2.5 minutes on the timer, and the enemy team still has every single player left. And we are down to VK72, so that's not entirely great. We can also see our 54E1 is playing a bit aggressive here. I'm just waiting at this point, because there's not much else I can really do. I know that they have a lot of TDs in the back, and I don't want to put myself in a position where they can hit me. But we have the Progetto, who pokes, and I get an incredibly lucky pen into his vehicle. But oh boy, now we have an E4 on my rear. Thankfully, I was able to pull into cover, noticing the E4, before he was able to get a shell out. Okay, well, let's see what happens here. The E4 is looking at my teammates. I made a misplay here, though, and I should have activated reactive armor, which would have mitigated 30% of the damage I received there. That was on me. In fact, I don't think I used my reactive at all, which was like really poor judgment from me. So at this point, I'm going to roll around the corner and aim it on the K91. I hit my really nice shot on the Progetto, so the game said screw you, and yeah, you're not allowed to hit that. So I back up, E4 misses me, which is obviously good, and I don't know what the E4 is doing there poking. Maybe he's trying to pretend he has a shot, but it's not really fooling me. I'm not able to get the shell out, but we're doing fine. You might say, oh, why didn't you snap in? The reason why is just because if I do shoot, then it gives the E4 the opportunity to sit there and stare at me. I would much rather be in a situation and a position where the E4 can't do that, so I'm just going to save my shell. So I'm going to back up a teeny bit just to see where that K91 is. He's not there. Okay, well, we have the E4. Again, probably should have activated reactive armor. I used very poor judgment on my reactive. But we are still alive, and that's all I can really say. K91 and the E4 try poking, but I have a teammate next to me. I do have a medium over here. I can't exactly see what medium it is, but the E4 shoots at my medium, and because of that, I am alive. It's the 54E1, actually. So the 54 shoots the T110 E4, and because of that, I'm able to clear him. And now we got the K91 up against us. But I'm not that worried about this K91. He can't pen me in the lower plate, and not only that, but loads AP, so he couldn't pen me at all. So we just turned what was an incredibly tricky situation into quite a solid winning area over there. Now we have the WZ poking, and we're going to wait from the back up, and oof, nice 717 damage fire. We are now up to 6,550 damage. That's a lot of damage. And obviously for this to be a damage record in the V4, we're not even close to done yet. So at this point, I realized, well, I know the grill's in the back somewhere over here, so let me get the grill cleared, and there you go, nice shot. But, I was looking at the enemy lineup, and I saw the WZ, and I knew where the bat chat was, but I hadn't seen the 50B at all. And I was like, wait a second. The 50B hasn't been spotted all game. And that's not how 50B players are. That's not how they act. I've been vigilant and paying attention here. I knew for a fact that this 50B had to be AFK. And there he is. 2,400 health sitting in spawn. And, well, we can see him at 7,500 damage already, so you can imagine that I'm going to be able to get out quite a bit of damage on the 50B. So I'm going to shoot him here, reload one final time, clear his tank. And just like that, we are at 9,195 damage. I would have loved to have dealt more damage in this game, but first of all, it was less than a minute left by the time I cleared the 50B, and not only that, but I will take 9,200 damage. Like, that's about as much as I could have asked for in that game. Absolutely crazy battle. My entire team combined did about 3,500, so I did about 3 times the entire team, which is just insane. At the end of the day, the V4, I can't really say it was the major reason I was able to farm there, but it definitely was a big help when trying to hold, although I could have definitely used better judgment on my reactive armor. But 9,000 damage nonetheless is just a crazy game. I did not expect to get that amount of damage out. If that 50B wasn't AFK, their team probably would have won. But welcome to World of Tanks Blitz, where a single teammate not doing their job can cause the defeat for an entire group of players. This is why I tell people that I get very frustrated when you have really bad players on your team, because if you have a player that does 0 damage in YOLOs, it's basically the equivalence of them being AFK. And that game there, if that player had done anything, they probably would have won, judging that I was sitting on 200 health at the end of the game. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Please consider smashing that subscribe button if you enjoy this type of content, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!